Hello, friends. Myself, Mrs. Vidya Gauri Prayag, very much delighted to speak to you on the subject of actuarial statistics. Myself and my friend, Dr. Shailaja Deshmukh, have authored a book, Actuarial Statistics An Introduction Using R, which is published by University Press, India, in December 2024. Nowadays, in every postgraduate syllabus of MSc Statistics, there is a course on actuarial statistics. Since the field of insurance is very prosperous branch, and in India especially, after the liberalization of the economy in 90s, this area or this field has taken up enormously. People who are employed in insurance business who do the number crunching and computations such as computing premiums for different products of the insurance are known as actuaries. We want to present before you the role of statistics played in the insurance field or in the actuarial science per se. So, the actuarial science discipline mainly is founded on four major pillars: statistics, mathematics, economics, and finance, out of which we are going to discuss the role of statistics in actuarial science, and hence the name of the subject is actuarial statistics. Every human being has some plans in his or her life. Everybody has some ambitions. Everybody wants to achieve something. For example, someone wants to start a business, someone wants to start a company, somebody wants to build a building, someone wants to go to the other abroad, go to abroad and learn something new, someone wants to do some innovative things in arts. Everywhere people are trying to achieve something and they have certain plans. A householder wants to build a house for himself and his families. So many things one can quote the examples. All these plans, initially they are dreams and then they become plans. And people are interested in realizing these plans. Nonetheless, apart from the limitations on the individuals in achieving these goals, there are certain factors which are beyond control of human beings. Let us take an example of building a house. So, this particular ambition has got so many problems. Even after completing that, there are possibilities of threats, fire, earthquake, and whatnot. So, the people or the one who wants to aspire this may get disheartened by only merely thinking of such possibilities. So, if there is someone who can say, "तुम आगे बढ़ो, हम तुम्हारे पीछे हैं," then that person gets courage to realize his dreams. So that kind of assurance is given by these insurance companies. And the science related to that is known as actuarial science. Now, why does statistic so important, or why does it play such an important role in actuarial science? The thing is that everywhere there is uncertainty. Wherever there is uncertainty, there is statistics. Only mathematics cannot solve the problems. So, with statistics, one can take care of the uncertainties up to certain extent by attaching a quantification of the uncertainty, or to be precise, the quantification of certainty, which we people call as probability. Or in insurance terms, we can call it as risk, which is quantified in numbers. For example, what is the probability of a theft in so and so area? What is the probability of earthquake in Pune city down the line in 10 during 10 years? What is the probability that there will be floods in certain area of a city? So these kind of probability statements help in coming out with the plans and associated uncertainties quantification, so that one can make realistic moves and realistic strategies to take care of these problems. So that is precisely insurance company do. The insurance area is broadly divided into two: life and non-life. The life insurance part is nothing but covering the human life. Everybody knows that death is a certain event. Leave aside those Amar people like Ashwathama, Hanuman, Chiranjeevi people. But for all others, death is a certain event. What is uncertain about death is the time at which it is going to happen. If a person is of 60 years today, then what is the probability that he will die in the next 5 years? If one can compute this probability, then one can do lots and lots of calculations using that number. So that is what is achieved in life insurance. And then the LIC or whosoever is the insurance company, previously there was only LIC, the government body. After liberalization, there are others also. HDFC Life is there, SBI Life is there, Bajaj Alliance Life is there. LIC was formed in 1956, 1st September. Now, what does LIC do and what do these all other companies do? How do they take care of the financial consequences of the detrimental effects, such as death of a human being, that we are going to see in this course? We are going to consider only the life insurance, not considering the non life or general insurance here. But what is general insurance? General insurance is, for example, we all know mediclaim policies, travel insurance, vehicle insurance, all that come under the purview of general insurance, which we are not going to consider here. We will be talking only about human life. Let us begin with a simple case study about a policy holder. If you go to the LIC website, you will see there many advertisements and marketing of several of their policies, which they term as products. One such product is Jeevan Umang Plan. The name itself is self explanatory. So let us begin with a kind of a example. What is done by the life insurance is that at the time of death of the policy holder, his or her beneficiaries could be children, spouse, or anyone else who is nominated in that policy document. They receive the benefit payment from the insurer, where in this case, insurer is LIC, and the one who takes the policy is known as insured. Here, there is seems to be some survival benefit of 8% basic sum assured from the end of the premium paying term till death. Let us not bother about this particular thing. This is a modification of a simple policy, which we want to understand the basic principle behind any life insurance. So let us not bother about this presently. Okay. The important thing is that premium paying, the quantity or the amount that a policy holder pays to the insurer or LIC regularly, most of the times annually, is called as premium. So one has to determine the premium and one has to decide the premium paying term. Consider a lady, hypothetical case, Mrs. Vidula, a lady of age 45 years, chooses the cover of rupees 5 lakhs. That means she opts for a life insurance policy for rupees 5 lakhs. Mrs. Vidula thinks that she will be able to pay premium till the age of 60 years as she would be earning till that time. That means she will be paying premium for 15 years as her current age is 45 years. Okay. Again, so what is the premium? That is a key question one has to answer. Mainly the LIC has to answer. See, what should be the payment taken from Vidula? Obviously, one thing one has to keep in mind that LIC is not doing charity. LIC is doing business. So LIC wants to get maximum amount from the policyholders as it has to run its own business. But LIC cannot obviously say that the premium should be say 1 lakh rupees each year. If LIC does say that, then nobody will buy the policy, isn't it? Because the cover is 5 lakhs, premium paying term is 15 years. So every year 1 lakh, then 5 years only Mrs. Vidula will be giving 5 lakhs to LIC. So the question will be who is the insurer and who is the insured. So, so LIC, even if it wants to maximize its own profit, cannot make the premium very large. On the other hand, it cannot make the premium even if in the interest of the policy holder. LIC cannot determine say that the premium is rupees 10,000. What will happen? Suppose premium is rupees 10,000, then then this lady pays for 2 3 years, then 30,000 she has paid, and in the fourth year, during the fourth year, her untimely death occurs, then LIC would have got only 30,000 and will have to pay 5 lakhs of rupees to her beneficiaries. So this is again then entering into the charity kind of area. So this is to be avoided. Otherwise, the insurance companies will go bankrupt. And we have seen this kind of, we have experienced this kind of situations of bankruptcy of insurance companies during COVID times, when there were several claims, more than far, far more than anticipated. But since there were contracts, the insurance companies had to pay the claim or cover. Anyway, so what should be the premium? This is a key question they have to decide. And for that, the actuaries, the professional actuaries or the actuaries who are employed by the organization do this job, and therefore they need to be trained in all sorts of walks of life, one can say, because they need to be obviously trained in mathematics, statistics, finance, economics, management, sociology, psychology, understanding the current situation of the country, understanding the international situation, and whatnot. So they have to be very, very learned persons, and then they come up with some such kind of number, which we will see on the website. If you go there and make these entries, then you will see that Mrs. Vidula will have to pay annual premium of rupees 38,772 for 15 years. So to say, this is a judicial choice on the part of LIC as well as the individual policy holder. This is not too great, too high for the policyholder to pay, and this is not too small for the LIC to accept. So that is the golden mean sort between the insurer and insured, and that's why rupees 38,772 is the premium decided. This they show on their website itself, but behind this, lot of number crunching, lot of statistical modeling, lot of understanding of utility theory, risk analysis, risk quantification, and many such things, life tables, that has gone into the coming up of this particular number. So, all these interesting topics we plan to deliver our lectures on the basis of our book, which I showed you earlier, through these webinars. Thank you so much.